Hello, and welcome to the South Asia Hydromet Forum video podcast. Increases in temperature and changes in rainfall patterns have a profound influence on agricultural production, affecting crop growth, development, and yields, on the incidence of pests and diseases, on water needs and fertilizer use. Short, medium, and long-range weather forecasting and climate outlooks are essential tools in maintaining food security everywhere. As the climate changes, it's even more critical that meteorologists and agricultural experts work together to address the emerging challenges. In this episode, Srinivasan explores the relationship between meteorologists and agricultural experts in South Asia. Hi Srini, thanks for organizing these interviews.
Yeah, thanks, David. The discussions were very interesting. We had experienced participants from both the agriculture sector and the National Hydromet Services. Let us start with Bangladesh, where we had Dr. Mazharul Aziz, the Deputy Director Coordination, Field Services Wing of the Department of Agriculture Extension. And talking to him was Komrul Hassan, meteorologist at the Storm Warning Center of the Bangladesh Meteorological Department.
Dr. Aziz actually in Bangladesh agro advisory started first few years, and how you think that this agro advisory is benefited to the agriculture communities?
Thank you, Mr. Kamrul. Basically, the system was initiated in 2019, and till then, we are issuing Agromet bulletin twice in a week for all 64 districts, and one national bulletin regarding agrometeorology in for national level. So, and also we are issuing special bulletins in case of emergency situation, and the things are we are doing well in short-term advisories, and this kind of advisories is helping our agricultural community a lot, because I personally assessed the impact of our forecasting in last 2020 during Amphan, and we received a very positive impact for the for issuing our advisories. The thing is, we have a system, or we have the database of 30,000 lead farmers from 15,000 farmer-based organizations from all over Bangladesh, and we are providing all the necessary information bulletins to them. But the thing is, yes, it's a very robust system, and still we are in a learning phase, because you know that in Bangladesh, the term agrometeorology, it is not well known, and since 2017, and from 2017 through this World Bank funded BWCSRP project, we are getting known regarding the term agrometeorology, and I think and hope that this aspect will be more familiar to our farming community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mazhar. And again, another question is Bangladesh Meteorological Department generating weather forecast as well as climate forecast, that means seasonal forecast in different time scale. how Department of Agriculture is using this forecast or this outlook, and what are the challenges you are facing? And again, the climate change is a burning issue for in the world and as well as in Bangladesh. So for future change of climate, how do you think that what thing you need to address, or how you think that that we can cope that the climate change issues in the agriculture sector for generation of the forecast as well as the communication of that forecast to the end users, and what are the what do you think about that?
Again, thank you. The thing is, yes, climate is changing, and we are coping with the climate change impacts in Bangladesh, and we are the pioneer of adapting the climate change issues. But the thing is, regarding the climate service, still we are far behind than our expectation, because you know that at farm level, still we don't have location specific information or forecast. So it requires location specific weather observatory. I think Bangladesh Meteorological Department, along with Department of Agriculture Extension, they are going to install more than 300 automatic weather stations in all over Bangladesh. Then it will be very much accurate regarding the union level or sub-district level forecast will be available then. So then it will be more acceptable to the farmers, because you know that at field level, from sub-district to sub-district, there is a lot of variation in terms of weather, soil characteristics, everything. So in case of when we'll be able to generate location-specific Agromet advisory, then it will be more acceptable. It will be more accurate, more acceptable for the farmers. And other thing is we are far behind. Then actually we are trying to develop a robust awareness system. From this fiscal year, Component C of Bangladesh Weather and Climate Services, they are organizing roving seminar. The thing is, at field level, the farmers are to be aware where the information is available, how the information, like weather-related information, climate services, agromet advisories, where the informations are available. It will be more. We'll be taking more program to aware more people, more farmers, more farming community, and this will help them to take appropriate decision at farming level. So I think in coming years we'll be doing that, and also in case of hydrological information, you know, the Component C, they are doing the dam of river system of Bangladesh. So when this information will be available with us, then we'll be able to generate forecast or bulletin or information to the farmers that up to which level the water will go and how the water will recede. So this will help the farming community to take decision in advance whether they will go for cropping or they will harvest their crop. So I'm looking forward with the help of BWCSRP, and obviously I think that there will be a second phase, and consequently there will be a third phase to support this kind of activity, because still we are not ready, or we are not prepared to take this kind of technology, because we have to work more, because at now all the information at country level, they are at district level. So we have to go up to the union level or sub-district level. This will help us or help our farming community to take more robust decision at their farm level. Thank you.
And Bangladesh Meteorological Department is generating organization for weather forecast and seasonal forecast as well as. So, do you think there is there is any demand from your side that this type of products you need for future?
Yes, obviously we are working together. So and also, the agriculture sector largely depends on the weather, especially rainfall, humidity, temperature. It depends on the weather information. So we'll be requiring more and more location-specific information, and hopefully, that through the funding of Component C of BWCSRP, we are in this time, in this phase, we have already opened 2 agrometeorological department at 2 esteemed universities of Bangladesh, agricultural universities, agrometeorology department. They have already opened, and now they will offer the post-graduation degree in agrometeorology, and in course of time, all the agricultural universities with the funding of the BWCSRP, we are supposed to, or we have planned to open agromet department. So when the expert manpower will be in the field, in the field of agrometeorology, then the service or then the advisories will be more relevant and more accurate for the farmers. And also we are thinking to use the AI or automation in our a union level or sub-district level forecast advisory dissemination or advisory production. We are doing that with the help of a World Bank funded project. So these things will help us in future more. Thank you.
And for your information, actually, Bangladesh Meteorological Department is using tools. Very few tools is available for seasonal forecasting. But we are now thinking how we can use, with the advance of computing, how we can use machine learning or artificial intelligence in future. There is some tool recently comes in the market, and we want to use that. I hope by using that tool, the seasonal forecast, quality of seasonal forecast will be improved much. Thank you.
And yes, especially I would like to thank RHYMES, because with the help of RHYMES technical support and also the guidance, that RHYMES developed the probabilistic and deterministic forecast of for flood forecasting and warning center, FFWC, and since 2020 we are providing IVR to the farmers. And in this year also, with the help of RHYMES, we have provided advisory for the farmers. Thank you.
Yes, actually, in the same way, RHYMES is helping Bangladesh Meteorological Department for numerical weather prediction and also seasonal production, seasonal forecast production.
So this is the kind of collaborating or coordinating or getting help from each other, from one stakeholder to another stakeholder. I think in case of climate services, or through this project and also with the help of other stakeholders, we are going to develop a very robust system in our country. Thank you.
Actually, nowadays, production term is using. Actually, it is very important. The collaboration within the that means department to department is very important.
Yes.
So BMD is generating weather forecast or seasonal forecast, but respective department should add some values on that, and then they can use it in their way. This is actually the co-production. So it is very important for Bangladesh.
Yes, actually we are doing or we are working in that line. The thing is through the BWCSRP project, you generate or you provide us the real-time information and also the forecast. So we are translating the forecast in terms of our crop. Different crops are grown in Bangladesh. And also with the help of this advisory or this forecast, we are producing district agromet advisory for all 64 districts twice in a week. Without the help of BMD, it would not be possible for us. So the umbrella project, Bangladesh Weather and Climate Services regional project funded by the World Bank, is helping us a lot. And I think this cooperation will go further in upcoming years.
Yeah, that means you are talking about decision support system.
Obviously.
For Bhutan discussions, we had Sering Wonchen, Deputy Chief Agriculture Officer of the Agrometeorology Program, and from the Department of Agriculture and the Ministry of Agriculture and Forests. And in discussion with him was Singye Dorji, Chief of the Weather and Climate Services Division of the National Center for Meteorology and Hydrology of the Royal Government of Bhutan.
So today we have Dr. Singye Dorji, Chief of Weather and Climate Division from National Center for Hydrology and Meteorology, Bhutan, and Mr. Sering Wongchin, representative from Department of Agriculture, Bhutan. We'll have a discussion about how weather and climate services being provided from National Center for Hydrology and Meteorology is supporting DOA for their operational requirements. So for that purpose, now I would like to hand over this to Dr. Singye Dorji to have some, to get the feedback about their services from Department of Agriculture.
Thank you, Dr. Anshul. My name is Singye Dorji. I'm heading the Weather and Climate Services Division of the National Center for Hydrology and Meteorology. So Bhutan, as you know, is an agriculture-dependent country. And therefore, a lot of our services, NMHS Bhutan produces, is targeted to the agriculture sector and to our farmers. In the past few years, we have provided a host of Agromet services to the Department of Agriculture. For instance, we have a decision support system that was developed about 2-3 years back. And for that, we have automated to provide the 3 days weather forecast to the decision support system of the Department of Agriculture. And there are a couple of initiatives from our office's side for the Agromet services. For instance, we have a GCF project for supporting climate resilience and transformational change in the agriculture sector in Bhutan. So through that project, we aim to provide a host of products on seasonal forecast and climate information, weather advisories, and others like the medium range forecast, extended range forecast, Agromet decision support system again, and drought watch and crop calendar. So a lot of activities are planned to be provided through that project, and that project is ongoing. And just recently, the Department of Agriculture and NCHM has also agreed to provide a weekly 5 days observation weather, as well as 5 days of forecast in order to support the decision-making Agromet decision that is being developed by the Department of Agriculture. Similarly, we recently completed the project web portal launch and the workshop for a climate services toolkit project that was supported by the WMO, which was funded by the Korean Meteorological Agency and implemented by the RIMES and NCHM. So these are some of the platforms and dissemination channels we are exploring in order to take our Agromet services to the farmers and the agriculture sector in particular. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Singhe, for giving us a brief of about the Agromet services from from National Center for Hydrology and Meteorology. So now I would like to hear from Mr. Sharing from Department of Agriculture, how they are making use of these services and what benefit they are experiencing getting this kind of information from NCHM.
Thank you, Dr. Anshul and Ian, for this opportunity. At the outset, on behalf of the Department of Agriculture, I would like to acknowledge the support of World Bank in the institutionalization of Agromet program. Their funding support was indeed quite helpful in setting up of the Agromet base in the Department of Agriculture. And now we work in close collaboration with the National Center for Hydrology and Meteorology better than ever before. Further, we also received technical support from RIMES on many fronts. So when it comes to the current status, the Agromet decision support system, which Dr. Singhe already highlighted, it underpins the Agromet activities in the country. And it was a system developed by RIMES and supported by World Bank. And it is basically a web portal to generate and disseminate agro advisories based on the weather forecast that is being fed by NCHM and the agriculture technical data populated by the Agromet Focal. So we basically bank on the ADSS in providing the Agromet services, but of late we have also realized that the Agromet decision support system is just a decision support system, but at the same time, what is more important is to make a decision based on our experience, and that is when the human experience, the technical experience come into play. And that's why we have agreed to work in close collaboration with NCHM, wherein they will be providing the observed data as well as the forecast data for 5 days. And the Agromet Focus based in the Agriculture Research and Development Center will be preparing the advisories manually. The Department of Agriculture is also a party to the Climate Services Toolkit, which the NCHM has recently launched. So we intend to derive the benefit in terms of using climate indices in our planning processes. Besides the Climate Services Toolkit, we also, together with NCHM, we also have created a WhatsApp group, and there are about 115 extension officers, and we are already looking to expand their group so that the agro advisories or the extreme weather events that NCHM provides reaches the last mile. Now, if I share some of the benefits that the Agromet services will have, let me recall one particular incident that happened last year. Last year in October 16 to 21st, we experienced an untimely rainfall. Usually in October, it is the harvesting season, and it's not a common practice to experience rainfall, but there was a very heavy rainfall during that period, and about 3,800 households across the country were affected, and about 2,500 acres of paddy field were affected. So the damage was not just in paddy, but it was also in other agriculture commodities besides other infrastructures. So in a long run, we envision that providing of such Agromet services will help to reduce the damage and loss incurred by such extreme weather events. But at the same time, in a long run, we really hope that through the provision of Agromet services, we will be able to improve the agronomic practices, and thereby the agriculture productivity of our farmers will be improved. So these are some of the benefits that we hope to see in a long run. Thank you.
Thank you so much, for sharing that experience, and that was very useful to hear. So I have one question with you. Like, you have many range of this forecast available at different time scales. So you have given a very good example where agriculture community are able to make use of it. But can you also give like more detail on like which forecast you find is most useful to communicate with the farmers with whom you are working? And also, like, what are the existing challenges that are linked to enhancing the use of this weather and climate information in agriculture sector in Bhutan, which agencies like RIMES, NCHM, or DOA has to work together to overcome?
Thank you for the question, Dr. Anshu. In fact, the Department of Agriculture, or rather the agriculture sectors, require the weather forecast of different lead time. And initially, when NCHM provided the short-range weather forecast, which basically is the weather forecast up to 3 days, we requested NCHM to provide weather forecast of different lead times, particularly for the agriculture sector, because agriculture is one area where the farm decision making would entail integration of weather forecast of different lead times. So NCHM's short-range weather forecast is pretty much accurate, but then when it comes to the actual application of the weather forecast in our daily farm decision-making practices, then there are certain issues. So of course, with the time, the forecast accuracy has also improved, and now our farmers also has full trust in the short-range weather forecast provided by the NCHM. But that doesn't help in situations where I described, such as the rainfall incident last year. So that's when the medium-range weather forecast, the forecast up to 10 days comes into play, and it will be of great help if we can actually integrate in our decision-making system. And as requested, NCHM has also embarked on providing the medium-range weather forecast. They provide the medium-range weather forecast and update it on their website every Friday, once a week. So we are basically now targeting to even integrate the medium-range weather forecast and short-range weather forecast in our daily decision-making processes. But at the same time, we also collaborate with the NCHM and other regional centers, such as RIMES, which is today represented by yourself. So in that forum, I think the seasonal weather forecast is provided to the users. SASCOF is a very useful platform, but at the same time, at the national level, we have the National Climate Outlook Forum, in which the NCHM provides a probabilistic forecast of the temperature and the rainfall outlook. And when various sectors come together and we prepare contingency planning in agriculture sector. But when it comes to the actual benefit, I must admit that it's not realized still, because our farmers are still practicing the traditional agriculture system, farming system, so to say, and it's quite difficult to change the mindset of the people. So that's why the contingency planning is not as effective as of now, but I'm pretty sure that in a long run, it will improve. So now to share some of the challenges that the Department of Agriculture is experiencing in the discharge of Agromet services, I would say that since we bank a lot on the Agromet decision support system, it's a software issue. In fact, the web portal has not been functioning for the past few days for various reasons. Server maintenance, and sometimes even if it works, it's not able to pull the weather forecast from the NCHM server and so on. That's the number one reason. I mean, the issues and challenge. And secondly, I think it also has to do with the climate literacy. Of course, no matter how much efficient and timely farm advisories we provide, if there are no takers, it's going to be a challenge, right? Climate literacy is still poor in the country, not just at the farmers level, but even at the professional level, wherein people do not really understand the impact of the weather and climate. Now, Bhutan is also constrained by the impacts of microclimatic conditions. For instance, even in one district, we might provide farm advisories, but if you really examine the impact of weather and climate, it's totally different. Place A might experience a different kind of weather condition, but a neighboring area might experience another set of weather conditions. So it's quite difficult to provide a uniform and a standard agro advisories, and that's why, you know, it might be also one reason why we are not able to get the trust of the communities. So I'll leave the challenges here for now.
Thank you so much, sharing. You raised some very important and useful points. So, Dr. Singhe, would you like to reflect on this?
Thank you, Dr. Anshul. Yes, Sring has rightly pointed out all the challenges that we are currently facing. Before going to the challenges, just to touch upon what Sring has raised on the last year's harvest damage experienced in Bhutan. Bhutan actually, for Bhutan, the monsoon season ends in September. So after October, normally we are not expecting, you know, very heavy rain. So therefore, I guess farmers, they went ahead with their normal harvesting. And in Bhutan, we also have a practice of drying the paddy on the field itself, sun drying. So, and during that time, the heavy rain happened, and then a lot of damage experienced by many farmers across the country. There are a lot of reasons, you know, why this happened. Like Sring also touched upon the medium range forecast. Our office did not have the capacity to be able to provide 7 days early warning. And even the short range, we did provide the forecast with a lead time of 2 or 3 days. But you know, that would have saved a few harvests, but that information also did not reach the farmers adequately as we would have loved to. So there are a couple of issues here, and on the challenges, there are, I can say that there are two very specific challenges. One from the product side, from the NMHS side, and one from the users side. So on the product side is, like Sring mentioned, is coming back to, you know, our the capacity of the NMHS to provide reliable and accurate forecast, particularly for the long range, like 7 to 10 days medium range forecast. And there are some challenges on the information dissemination also, and on the uptake of how this information is used by the sectors involved and by the farmers particularly. So these are the two main challenges, and currently we use a lot of media in order to disseminate this information, like television, Facebook, and a lot of other social media groups like WhatsApp and WeChat, and even through radio. But at the end of the day, I think there is still a gap wherein some of these critical information may not reach the last mile user. So this is an effort that NMHS Bhutan, as well as the Department of Agriculture and the sectors involved has to work in partnership. And we have to continue to engage with the farmers, and we also touched upon the climate information literacy also, and capacity building, how our farmers and the stakeholders have to properly interpret the products and advisories that are coming out of the NMHS. So these are some of the important challenges that we have to continue to address. Thank you, Dr. Anshu.
Thank you, Dr. Singhe, for highlighting on the challenges and the future prospects. So my next question is linked to that aspect itself. Like, we are expecting so many changes in both climate and agriculture systems these days. So what do you feel like, how can Agromet services be improved from generation, customization, and also for communication and dissemination, as you just raised, so that the final uptake of this information can be raised and we can meet for the future challenges which are upcoming due to various kind of changes in the climate as well as both in agriculture systems. So maybe first Dr. Singhe can reflect, then we can go to sharing.
Thank you, Dr. Anshul. On the future way forward, so to speak, is also, along that same line. NMHS Bhutan has to continuously, strive to improve understanding the reliability and accuracy of the forecast, particularly in the long-range scale lead time, has to be improved. And building climate resilience now has become very important these days. And there are a lot of pressing needs of our farmers, like, for instance, erratic rainfall behaviors. So farmers are not able to rely on, traditionally used sources of water like rainfall. So increasingly, I think government and stakeholders has to come in to be able to provide and plan irrigation for the farmers across the country. And there are other emerging problems that agriculture sector is facing, like, for instance, pests and diseases. And this is also one area where different sectors, including the NMHS, has to work together in order to minimize or reduce the disasters, as well as reduce the damages that the farmers face. So because of the low level of understanding of the farmers, and in all our engagement with the farmers in our workshops and meetings over the past 1 or 2 years, we have always come across this very clear message that there is a need for NMHS and the relevant stakeholders to build the capacity of our farmers. So this is another area where we need to work upon, so that in the light of climate change, some of these impacts can be mitigated, and the agriculture sector will not face the brunt of climate change as they are doing now. Thank you, Dr. Anshu.
Thank you, Dr. Singhe. Those are like very useful steps, and yeah, definitely a lot of work and support will be required from the government side. Yeah, so sharing your views on that.
Thank you. We have, in fact, shared some of our common challenges, but that doesn't mean that we have not progressed. In fact, we are still continuing to connect the dots, and we will continue to do it still. The Agromet services becomes quite efficient and continues to make a difference in the lives of our farmer. And when it comes to the Agromet program of the department, the Agromet decision support system will be the main channel to generate the agro advisories. And we will be building on the lessons learned over the past few years, and we are looking forward to enhance and improve the system. In fact, in the current financial year, we really want to upgrade and enhance the web portal so that we can have a dynamic system. And since now most of the people, even in rural area, we own smartphones, it will be of immense help if we can have an application, mobile, maybe in a form of mobile app, to disseminate agro advisories. And the NCHM and Department of Agriculture is exploring avenues to even develop an app. At the same time, since we are talking about the use of machine learning and artificial intelligence in the ADSs, the quality of the data will depend, the quality of the output will depend on the data input that's being fed from the National Hydromet Services, as well as the Agromet officers. So from both the ends, we are looking to improve the quality of the data as well. And in terms of the resources as well, I think a lot of resources will be required to operationalize these services. Of course, at the moment, we are supported by projects such as the World Bank and GCF. But at the same time, in order to really operationalize in all the 20 districts, there are also opportunities for other financing institutes to chip in and support the agriculture sector. Right now, the Agromet program is constrained also by the human resources. So we are also aspiring to have more number of human resources in this field, so that the generation and dissemination of agro advisories is not a hindrance. Right now, as Dr. Singh highlighted, there are various channels to disseminate the agro advisories. So we will continue to do so. The popular channel is medium of dissemination is the websites. Social media is becoming more popular, but at the same time, like I said, mobile apps and other mediums such as sensitizational workshops and all, we are going to prioritize in near future. And lastly, but not the least, I think Agromet services will not be effective if NCHM and DOA does not collaborate. So we really want to have a strong working modality or strong collaboration between these two important national agencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharing. You bring up very good points, and definitely this collaboration is very useful, and that will be only way forward for the supporting the communities, the farming communities in Bhutan. So any final question from Dr. Singh to Sharing?
Thank you, Dr. Anshul. Actually, like Sring rightly mentioned, in order that our products and services reaches the farmers, the role of Department of Agriculture, including all other stakeholders like the local government, machinery, are all equally important, in this endeavor. And like we discussed earlier, this has to be a collaborative, this has to be a joint and collaborative effort between the NMHS and the Department of Agriculture to take some of these products and services to the stakeholders, as well as to the last mile users of all the farmers across the country.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Singh. So any final thoughts or comments from Sharing?
Let me once again take the opportunity to thank the World Bank for the support, and also the manner in which NCHM, Department of Agriculture, and RIMES, we work together, it's quite exemplary. In fact, it has been talked in most of the forum, and we hope to continue this engagement. In fact, RIMES was quite supportive when they made the Agromet decision support system, and whenever there were issues related to technical areas, RIMES was always ready to support the department, and we look forward to more support, and really look forward to working towards operationalizing the Agromet services in the country, and making a difference in the life of the farmers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sharing. Definitely, like RIMES is always there for the support, and we always work for the communities. So whatever support is required is always welcome. Please let us know, and we'll be very happy to support both NCHM as well as Department of Agriculture. So thank you, both of you, for giving very nice thoughts about the Agromet services in Bhutan. And this also brings up a lot of requirements and challenges which both the agencies are facing, and also the very important points on how these can be improved to make these services better for the farming communities in the future times, or the future coming times. So definitely there are many challenges in the current situation, and with various kind of changes which we are facing these days, these are going to accelerate in future. So all these agencies has to work together and develop better products, services, and dissemination mechanism so that information can be utilized in a better way. So thank you, and have a good day.
In India, we had Dr. Dakore Kailash Kamaji, who's an agrometeorologist at the Vasantrao Nayak Marathwada Krishi Vidyapit, or the Marathwada Agriculture University, as it's popularly known, in Parbhani of the Maharashtra state of India. And talking to him is Dr. Kripan Ghosh, who's the head of the Agriculture Meteorology Division of the Office of Climate Research and Services at the India Meteorological Department, Pune, India.
So, Dr. Dakore, you are very much aware that the Agromet services in India that has been started long back, that is late 70s, last century, during late 70s. And after that, there was improvement in spatial scale, temporal scale, and finally, from 2008 onwards, we started this in India, Agromet advisory services at district level. And there is some improvement in spatial scale during this last decade also. From 2018 onwards, we started at giving the Agromet advisory service at block level. So if you will share, because you are already associated with this Agromet advisory for a long time, just share your views. What are the recent updates in the services, and how are they benefiting agricultural communities better?
Dr. Kripan sir, you have rightly mentioned this agro-advisory services has been improved tremendously. As we will go back to the 90s, so we are just coming to the recent decades. So we have the variety of products. As right now we have the decision support system, we have the apps, various apps. They are linked with this decision support system, and now main thing is that the accuracy of the forecast at the block level as well as at the district level, because block level we are recently just in operational mode since last 2.5 years, but the district level we have the very good this what we say accuracy level, and that has built the very good rapport and confidence with respect to the end users, particularly farming community, and they are more very much reliable on these various products available at medium range, long range, as well as the we can say nowcasting. We have the various products, and especially we can say that this India Meteorological Department, they have the very good accuracy products in semi-arid tracts of India. So what in semi-arid ecosystem, we know the water is a very limiting factor, and we need the timely information to do the operations in the farms, because we are getting the information means farmers are readily they are waiting for our products. What will be the forecast for next 5 days or for the next 10 days, likewise. And farmers, they are very much acquainted with our products, because main thing is that the products has the very good accuracy, I told, whether it is a dry spell, in terms of wet spell, or in terms of the heavy rainfall events. So I think that was the ideal situation, that the farmers, they are appreciating our products. And so this, we in the hands with the India Meteorological Department, state agriculture universities, they are preparing the agromet advisories effectively. Because if the products are very good, we need to prepare our advisory also in that manner. That is the realistic one. So keeping in mind, we are just reaching to the farming community and allied sector also, sir.
Dr. Dakure, you have mentioned regarding different products and all. You know that because you are associated with it, that the one of the most important component of this agromet advisory services, preparation of agromet advisories, that is various kinds of your weather forecast as well as your this climate prediction. So, what do you feel that different scales of this forecast as well as climate prediction, is the agricultural community able to make use of this range of products? And if so, what are the challenges linked to enhancing the use of weather and climate information in the agricultural sector? What are your views?
Yes, actually, IMD, India Meteorological Department, they are just giving the long range weather forecast at the just start before starting of the season. First is just releasing in the month of April, and second in the end of May or first week of June. So really, these products are very useful for planning of their own land. We have the review from the farming sectors, how they are planning their lands, where how much area they are keeping for the Kharif as well as the Rabi season. So they had replied that, sir, as per the first forecast, we are just going for the land distribution. So that is the beauty of this long range weather forecast. Secondly, we have the in season, suppose in monsoon season, Kharif season. So whether there is a dry spell or there is a wet spell, because in semi-arid tracks we need the accurate information. And particularly in Marathwada region, we are experiencing there is a continuous dry spell during the just in crop is completing vegetative phase. Sometimes it is in flowering phase. So accurate information is helping to the farmers. Those they have some life-saving irrigation facilities available. So in advisory we are mentioning. And third most important factor is that these products, we have the variety of products. So they are acquainted how to use. Recently we are incorporating our satellite products also. So using these satellite products, we have the potential evapotranspiration, NDVI, soil moisture. So we are able to prepare the advisory at the spatial level, at block level as well as the district level. So earlier we have to just rely on the farming community, on the farmers as well as from the extension agronomists, to know the what are the real time problems in block as well as the district level. So now using these satellite products also, we are able to know whether is crop is under stress condition, either biotic, abiotic stress condition. And we are validating these products from our this local machinery from state agriculture department as well as from the other sectors. So we have got the confidence how to use these products, satellite products, to prepare the advisories at the block and district level. Third important aspect is that this extended range weather forecast, it is also playing a very good role, because medium range forecast we have the 5 days information, and extending to that we are getting the 10 days very good outlook for a district level. These ERFS products are available at the subdivisional level, so we can see which are the what is the outlook for the next 10 days. And accordingly farmers, they are just planning their extending their operations, looking toward the ERFS information. And we have some certain examples, good examples during the harvesting period last year. So last 2 years we are experiencing that monsoon was extended up to the October end. So the farmers, they are asking, sir, please tell me what is the crucial time when we have to harvest, because monsoon, after the withdrawal of the monsoon, still there was a continuous heavy spells were occurring. So this ERFS product, particularly external range weather products, they are very much helpful to know the which area we are getting the rainfall, or which area we are not getting the information rainfall. So on that basis they have harvested and they stored their outputs. So this ERFS as well as the now casting products also are very much useful at the time of sowing as well as during the time of harvesting and mid time when we are not getting the rainfall, dry spells we are experiencing. So definitely farmers they know how to use. Even farmers are very smart, so they are visiting our websites also. So we have the this farmers awareness program. So we are just getting the information from the IMD, and we are just discussing with the farmers that we don't rely on any other sources. You just get the information directly from the websites also. You can check the products, they are updating periodically, and if you have any issue because products as such they are not understanding, so we will have a communication on the telephone. And what dissemination, sir, we have the very good network through our WhatsApp groups. So we are disseminating these products through our WhatsApp groups regularly. And I'm really appreciating again to the farmers also. They are understanding the utility of these products on the larger scale.
Dr. Dakure, you know that globally most important factor is your climate change. And India is also experiencing some of the climatic variability, even though it may not be the climate change, it may be the climatic variability and year variability also. So with future changes in both climate and agricultural systems, how can Agromet services be improved from the point of view of generation, customization, and communication? And finally, the uses by the end users. What are your views?
Uh, Sir, you are rightly mentioned. Actually, this IPCC has given some projections also regarding the climate change. And as we know, the variability is much more in our country. So to capture this situation, we need the more accurate products, especially on the extreme events. So recently, we are experiencing that extreme events they are happening. We are experiencing the heavy rainfall events. Similarly, hailstorm, we are also experiencing the prolonged dry spells. So we need the accurate information on these products. So we are able to generate the agromet advisory on real-time basis. Once we are getting such kind of information, and secondly, IMD has already developed the decision support system. We can integrate this information on real-time basis through satellite products also. So we can have a special information real time. Actually, the Space Application Center as well as our IMD also they are getting the information, satellite information, and we can also just club mold this information in our app also. So farmers will get the real time information. Secondly, as rightly mentioned, that we need to address the biotic stress also, pest and disease information. This is another sector where the majority of losses are happening. Especially, we will take an example of maize crop. So this fall armyworm, they are having the tremendous impact. Sometime just few years back, we are the exporter in the maize. Now we are the importer in the maize. So this biotic stress is also we need to address using the development of four warning models. And IMD is trying to develop some four warning models. So we will give the information in advance in those pockets we are experiencing the pest, particularly in cotton, soybean, or whatever the crops in location specific. So that biotic stress capture is required. And I hope we are integrating this information by developing this model in decision support system, and we can prepare the real time the information to the while generating the agromet advisory. And the most important thing is that the accuracy of forecast for to capture these extreme events. So we require both in ERFS as well as in the medium range weather forecast to get this information whether the coming days we have the heavy events, extreme events occurring, because recently we are experiencing, though accuracy levels are very high in the medium range weather forecast, but for the extended range weather forecast we need to capture this information, and we can formulate the advisory on that basis, and we will reach to the farmers that coming days such type of situation will be there and how to overcome with existing technology developed by the state agriculture universities. We can incorporate the information in agromet advisory format. So I think in that way we can go and we can address the issue of this climate change, climate variability through our Agromet advisory services.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Srini, the three interviews highlight the close working relations between meteorologists and agricultural experts. What are your reflections on these discussions?
So in terms of responses, we have heard a range of viewpoints varying from country contexts and also representing different levels of agriculture services engagements within the region, as represented by these three countries where we had these discussions. It's very encouraging that agriculture services particularly are very receptive to hydrometeorological information. And we hope that with future developments in the hydrometeorological services and strengthening of these services to become more oriented to the agriculture sector will bring benefits to the sector and also help them adapt to future changes as well as become resilient to some of the climate extremes which we are going to face in future. Thank you.
Thanks, Srini. And thanks to all of our guests on this episode exploring Agromet services in South Asia. As always, you can find more information on the South Asia Hydromet Forum and our video podcasts via the GFDR website and the SAF Knowledge Hub. Thanks for watching.